Hey guys, okay, I had to come back on and just evaluate my last year, and I thought I should do it with you guys because you guys followed me for at least a little part of our journey up until we had some things happen with a horse, and then my mind kind of got a little preoccupied with that because she needed a lot of medical attention, and I was very pregnant and trying to shuffle life at that moment, and so videos kind of fell off the map a little bit, and I'm not very good at this, so I'm an amateur. I'm gonna throw it out there. I am an amateur, but I had to come on today because today is such a special day. Today is the first birthday of the baby girl that we carried in journey number 1. There's still no words for how amazing it felt the second that little girl was born and landed into her parents' arms and watching that interaction for the first time. The magical feeling that we got as we watched this couple turn into parents in a matter of seconds. Me doing what I do, I love labor and delivery. I love being pregnant, and that was some of the things that intrigued me about being a surrogate. The other thing was doing the things with my kids that I do, and then thinking about how there is people out there suffering from infertility and going through so much that it absorbs their life, and being able to relieve some of that pain for those parents and carry their child for them so that they can experience those things that I experienced with my kids. And the moment that little girl was born a year ago today, it concluded everything that I wanted. It brought it all together. It made complete sense of why we did what we did. Instantly, I was like, let's do this again. Again, I'm weird. I love being pregnant. I love the labor and delivery. I have been fortunate to have amazing deliveries. I have been fortunate to have great pregnancies. I have a lot of people around me who have suffered a lot of uncomfortable, unbearable symptoms in crazy pregnancies and a lot of loss, and that made me open my eyes to the fact that because it is so good for me and easy for me, I have it in my heart to gift families with a child. And we're pretty set on our 2 kiddos, and I'm not done being pregnant, and so it was just perfect. A year ago today, that little girl came to the world, and she's perfect. You guys, she is absolutely perfect. Her parents melted head over heels in love with her the second they held her. Delivery was perfect. At this time, that day, a year ago, we were sitting in the hospital room joking and laughing and waiting for this little girl to make her arrival. I was still refusing an epidural at this point because I was comfortable. I did opt into an epidural. I have a herniated disc in my lower back, and so labor pains without it are so painful that I can't even focus on the delivery of baby because my back is in so much pain. So I opt into an epidural to give myself comfort to be able to focus on the delivery of baby. More power to the mamas who can deliver without it, because they are the true superheroes. They are the real VIP. I just wanted to come on here because I've had so many questions about how are you doing a year out? How do you feel emotionally? Do you feel like you still made good choices doing this? Do you feel satisfied? Do you feel any sadness, any regrets? And I just wanted to come on here and be I don't feel any regrets. I think about that day every single day. And I think about how me and my husband did what we did, brought this family's baby in their dreams to life, and was able to be in the moment. Emotionally, I did really well. I really worked hard though on making sure that I was kind to myself. If I was feeling some sort of way, I let myself feel it. I opened up to my husband. I allowed myself to open up to him and reach out to him if I needed help. I let myself feel, I mean, you've got crazy hormones going regardless if you have a baby at home or not. And so I let myself feel that. I also kept myself busy by doing the things that I love and enjoy. I had things to look forward to. We had made some plans and did some things. I bought my husband a truck, a vintage truck. We did some really fun things to kind of like cure that time and not allow myself to think about, oh, I just had a baby and there's no baby here. But in my mind, I had already knew baby wasn't coming home with me. And it wasn't hard for me because you go into surrogacy with the mindset that baby is not yours. Baby's not biologically related to us. We knew that this baby belonged to these parents, and to be able to be the ones to gift them with that life and become parents and enjoy parenthood. It was an amazing feeling. Also, we still are in contact with the family. We are in contact with them almost daily. And I get updates on baby all of the time. And we have gotten to watch not just this couple become parents, but these parents grow their family. We have gotten to watch this family grow, and we've gotten to be a part of what we help do. And that truly, I think, fulfills my heart more than anything, is knowing that, okay, we help this family. Like that happened because of us. And knowing that they get to live with this baby that's growing and becoming a child and getting to go through parenthood has just been amazing. They're fantastic parents. Of course, you know, like when we're all new parents, we're scared and we have to learn, but they did amazing. You couldn't even tell that they were first-time parents. They just knew what to do. It came so natural for them. The mom is just absolutely wonderful. Dad is great too. Like the family is like perfect to us. Like, and we were able to be blessed enough to grow such an organic relationship with them that we now have, they're not just a family that we help, but they're now like our family. Some people have asked me, how do you look at baby? Like, do you ever feel motherly about her? I never do. I never once had a motherly feeling when I was pregnant with her. I never once feel motherly about her now. The relationship between me and baby almost feels more like a niece, an aunt and a niece type relationship. Like, and we're, or like your best friend's kid. You know, you love your best friend's kid. Well, that's how I look at this baby. Like, she is my best friend's kid. I love my friends' kids as much as I love my kids, and looking at her like that, like, and knowing that, that relationship is just absolutely amazing. Not all surrogates get to experience that, however. And so if you are thinking about surrogacy, you want to make sure that if that is something you're wanting out of your journey, that you voice that and you make sure that you include that in like your bios and your contracts, because it's really important post-op, post everything, to think about like what you're expecting, what your needs and wants are, and to make sure that you make it happen. I manifested the delivery in my head. Like, I thought about exactly how I wanted it to go from the second that my husband and I decided it was time for us to do surrogacy. I manifested the delivery day, and literally how it was in my head was literally how it played out. I mean, I can't think of one thing that had gone differently in my head, because it just was so amazing. People have asked me, how has doing surrogacy affected your marriage and your relationship with your husband? I actually think it's brought us closer together. I have always been a very kind of independent and closed person where I don't want to talk about my feelings, or I don't want to open up about things. I had to learn how to rely on him, lean on him, and open up to him. And I feel like with me doing that and becoming more vulnerable, I grew more. I feel like I definitely matured more, and it helped our marriage really bloom and blossom, because he was able to feel like the husband who could give the support. He helped me along the way from step one. I mean, he did all my shots for me. He was amazing. I think there was one shot he didn't do, and he was out of town. But just how it has made me and him become closer together. We went on a lot of adventure, and me and my husband are adventurous. We love going on adventures, and this was definitely an adventure. We were able to do it together, and our kids did really well. Our daughter is only 3.5, so she really doesn't quite understand the whole thing yet. My son is 9, and he thought it was the coolest thing that we did this and grew this family. Going into journey number 2, he's so excited for us to do this again. People have asked me if I have any thoughts of like, what if it had gone a different way? Not really. Like, a different way meaning like, what if you didn't have connection with the parents? We said from the beginning that we wanted a connection. Our first journey, we were a little bit more lenient on that. We were a little bit more like, okay, it doesn't have to grow into anything. Not really knowing what we were walking into in the first journey. But definitely now, like, I'm so glad that we did stick to that, because I don't know where we would be without these people in our lives now. It has been truly an amazing year. I definitely highly suggest, like, if you are a postpartum surrogate and you feel like you need that support, if you're lacking it, you gotta find it. Keeping yourself busy. That was the biggest thing for me, as I was so busy. I didn't have time to be sad. I don't think there was ever a moment where I was sad to begin with, but staying busy and really like finding out my way. And actually during this whole process, I realized that the career that I was in it really made it like, it put it right out there in my face that that's not the career that I wanted. And I there was so much more that I wanted. And it showed me like how all these IPs are going through and they're sticking to their guns and they're working so hard and they go through so much to get these children and bring their babies home, that I was like, it taught me to not give up. It taught me to be strong. It taught me to like, you know, not ever let myself feel defeated. It taught me to really like stick to it and work hard. Surrogacy has done so much for us as our own family, and it's definitely brought a new light to our life. So we're so excited that we did it. We are journeying into number 2. And that is another episode to come, but I just had to come on here, and there was those couple questions that I wanted to answer. I had the biggest thing, like I said, is stay busy after postpartum. You know, there's so much that you can do. Become part of like a group, a support group. There's a lot on Facebook, just as a little helper, because I felt like that's what helped me the most when it came down to it. I did ugly cry. I will put that out there right now. When we were saying goodbye at the hospital, when it was time for us to go our separate ways, and it was time for me to go home and recover, and it was time for the family to go home and become like one and start learning their process and their whole, you know, situation, I ugly cried. But I'm going to tell you, it wasn't because baby was going home with her parents. It was because they were all going home. And I had just spent 2 weeks with this family, with this couple, and I did not want to say goodbye to them. Even though it was more of a see you later, I didn't want them to leave. I had these best friends that we just spent literally every day with. And it was amazing. And so I think that the feeling of that chapter was closing, knowing there's a new one opening, but there was also all this happy emotion watching them, and I just like, I couldn't help it. I just ugly cried, and it took a little while for me to be able to actually talk about delivery, the day, how I was feeling without getting emotional, because my hormones were like skyrocketed and I was so happy. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've ever been so happy that I cry every time I talk about it. It took me a minute to be able to do that and open up. And then some people would actually mistake my crying as like a sad emotion because that's over. And it was like, it's not over though. It's literally just like that chapter ended and now a new one is starting. And so today feels like a whole nother chapter has like ended, but this whole new chapter is starting. And like getting pictures of baby first thing this morning on her birthday and seeing how freaking cute she is just like, it made our day, made us so happy. We feel really blessed that we decided, and you know, like it was put in our heart to share with you guys our side of the journey. We do keep our IPs anonymous because that is what they have requested. And our whole purpose of sharing our journey is to share the surrogate side of things. There's a lot of people who look into surrogacy and about being a surrogate, and I feel like if I can in some way educate anybody, even those who are not sure about surrogacy as far as like the process. There is still a good chunk of people who don't understand surrogacy and what it is. There's a lot of different avenues of surrogacy as well. And so really understanding and being educated on the process and being able to share my personal stories and my personal side of it is really as a blessing. And so we're super excited to keep sharing, and we hope that you follow along for journey number 2.